So after you laser engrave a dial, you have to hand finish and get rid of all the artifacts. And just like any other tool that you use, whether it be a CNC, whether it be a CNC mill or a lathe, it's going to leave behind tool marks. In this case, you end up getting what's very similar to slag from the cut that's occurring. And we're just going through and cleaning that up. And what I'm using is a very fine, just to give you an idea, this is my finger. This is how small that is. It's my index finger. And what I'm using is a very fine polishing tool that's made from ceramic. And it's just going in and taking off the edge of the metal where the laser has melted it and caused that slag to build up. And just to give you an idea of what it looked like before I started, here's the 9. And you can see that there's already been a little bit of that taken off. But the 6 is what I'm working on right now. And just to give you an idea of what you can see when you're taking some stuff off, you're actually going to see a film come away. And that's how you know you're getting close to getting that off. You can kind of see that gray or darker area there. And that's what I've already gotten off of the 6. Now I'm just going around the edges of that and making sure that it's as clean as it possibly can be. And what we're looking for at the end of the day is to come up with a finished dial that is similar to this one right here. And so that's the type of finish we're looking to do. And in order to get there, I first have to prepare this part of it. And I do that just by taking away the other areas that were kind of melted funny by the laser. So this dial was engraved with a 50-watt fiber laser. I've already done the 3, and you can see the finished on that. And I don't have to worry about finishing this part down here because it's going to get covered with enamel. I'm going to have to go and clean around each one of these second dots for the indices there. And then each indice also is going to have to be cleaned. This is a several-hour process total. I'm not going to spend the entire length of this video on it, but I just wanted to go ahead and give a sample on a live video of what it is that this is and how it works. Obviously, I won't be able to chat with you, but if you do post a question, it'll show up and I'll be able to answer it through the audio here. And so feel free to ask a question. I'll be happy to try to answer it. Now you can see I've shaped my tool here that I'm using. And again, this is just a fine ceramic polishing tool. And it's in a special case. And this is a 0.7 millimeter tool. So it's super tiny. And I'm doing all this under magnification. And so the same video you're watching or the same picture you're seeing is exactly the same image I'm looking at while I'm doing this. Actually watching the screen. Normally I'd be using a jeweler's loop, so this is a little bit different for me just because of that. And so I'm just not quite as adept at using the screen to do this work. But I figured for trying to do a live video, I would try it out and see. I do have a better magnifier or a microscope that's electric, but I don't have a way to hook that up to broadcast it on YouTube. So I'm just using my iPhone and using the magnification built in to the system to be able to do this work. To give you an example of this right here, like I said, this tip is 0.7 millimeters. This text is about the same size as that. So this is very fine work. This is a overall, this is a 35 millimeter watch dial, so it's pretty small. And everything with watches is very straightforward as far as the the mechanics or the things that are on them, but because of the size, it makes it incredibly difficult to work on. There's always a challenge just because of the size or the scale of the work that needs to be completed. And then as I move in here, there might be some things I'm going to have trouble getting to, like that little piece right there. And I really would like to get that off. I just don't know if I'm going to be able to get it with this tool. And I might end up having to wait to get it later with a different type of tool instead. I have some additional diamond type file stuff that I can get, or some ruby stone, and that might be able to get to it. Or I might be able to sharpen this up a little bit more and get in here and get that. So the reason why this is important to be perfect is this isn't actually for me. This is actually for a customer. And this is for a public servant who served 25 years as a police officer. And he's retired now. And this will be the watch that they're going to use to commemorate their service. So I want to make sure it's as nice as it possibly can be for that purpose. And I think I'll go ahead and move on from the 6 now. We'll go into the 9. We'll come back and do these bar indices later. And I've already hit the surfaces here with a satin polish. Polishing wheel earlier, and that knocks off some of the slag that was already on there. And what I'm doing here is just coming back over and taking away the nasty dirt and stuff that's on there, and you can see that coming off as I'm starting the initial polish. You see it here. And I can either blow that off with a dust blower, or I can use a piece of Rotico, which is a watchmaker's putty. And Rotico is just basically a really sticky putty that picks up a lot of nasty dirt off the surface of things. And so here, like I said, I made a flat area here, and so if I just put that on here, I want to stay with the grain that I already established for which way I want to make the satin finish later, because I'm not polishing this to a fine polish. And I'm just taking off a little bit of the top. And it's getting rid of the tooling marks that was caused by the laser when this was made. I don't want to push too hard, because I don't want to create any high spots or low spots on this. I want it to remain exactly the same level on all the numbers in all the areas that's there. You can see all that dirt on there. I'm going to get that off now. And you can see that's how you clean that up a little bit. Now the edges is where the slag or the other stuff ends up occurring. And so I'm going to clean off the tip of the polishing tool. And I'm going to go in here and see if I can get that. I'm going to turn the tip so I'm on the flat area. I'm just going to come in there and get the edge of that. Now, this stuff is incredibly small. It looks big on the screen, but it's actually super tiny. The tool you're looking at is 0.7 millimeters. So that makes this area that I'm working on pretty small. I want to move slowly so I don't mess it up, because if I put a deep gouge or something into one of these numbers or to one of the other areas of the dial ends up having to be thrown out. And it took over 6.5 hours to make it already to this stage. And I do not want to have to spend another 6.5 hours to make another one. So I want to be very careful while I'm doing this. I've been making watch dials now for about 4 years. And I have thrown away during that process of learning hundreds of dials, and I would prefer not to have to throw away one more. I'm sure I will, I'm not done with making mistakes, because just as anything else is in life, this is a journey of learning, and I am absolutely still prone to making mistakes from time to time when I'm working on these. But the important thing is what you do when you do make a mistake, and that's learn from it, and then absolutely positively make sure that you don't try to sell or fix something that's imperfect. Go ahead and if a dial gets spoiled, go ahead and toss it, and make a new one for your customer so that they get the best product and you deliver what you promised when you took their commission to make it their piece for them. What's crazy is companies like Rolex and the higher end watch brands have people that do stuff like this, and they'll work on a watch for a whole week, working on just the hands for the watch, or just the indices like this. And while I spend hours doing this, I won't be spending a whole week on it. So I really applaud that type of quality to finish. At some point, I guess if you're selling your watches for $12,000, you can do that. But this watch sells for about $600, and in order to be able to keep doing this for people, I've got to do it within the time frame that makes that price able to be done. So it's been a couple hours doing this max. I'm going to move on to making the rest of the watch. But within a couple hours, this dial will look really nice. And I will be able to enamel it. I use a hand enameling process to do that. And then once it's enameled, I will be putting on the dial feet on the back. And I've already marked where those go. And the reason why the dial feet are so important is because there's what decide how everything lines up on the watch within the watch case itself. So if your dial feet are off, your 12 o'clock won't be at 12 o'clock. It'll be slightly off, rotated around. Or the stem might not fit where the 3 o'clock is supposed to be. Or your central post here may not be exactly centered. So that's what the dial feet affect. It's really important that your dial feet are exactly spot on to where they need to be. So you can come in from the side here, and as long as you don't push too hard, you can just come in here and give that a good cleaning, which also gets rid of the slag and the melted brass that is there from the laser. And just go over that a few times. You can see that material coming off, and it's just a little bit coming off, but it's makes a huge difference in the overall appearance of that dial when it's completely done. I appreciate y'all taking the time to stay with me while I'm watching this and doing this myself. I don't know if they're giving any questions, if y'all are giving any questions or not, or saying anything in chat. I'm not seeing anything come up on my screen, and it could just be that I'm not good at the live YouTubing, because I've only done, this is my second time to do it. And so hopefully it's working the way it's supposed to. And if you guys are asking something, I'm not seeing it, and I apologize for that. Oh, I do see a hi from G Artman. Hi there. So I guess that is working. Thank you for doing that so I could see. I'm not too worried then. I'm ignoring folks, so I appreciate you asking or saying that. So you can see here, the 9 had a little artifact there on that edge. So this is a this is a 0.7 millimeter ceramic pen, and when I get done here, I'll put a link in the description for you, because this will stay up on my YouTube channel, and I'll put a link to where to buy it. I got this one off of AliExpress. It's a 0.7 millimeter pen. It says it's Japanese, but I'm pretty sure it's Chinese since it came from AliExpress. It shipped from China. That doesn't mean they didn't import it from Japan, but it's likely not imported from Japan. It's likely Chinese, but it does a great job. And the holder for this thing is amazing as well. It's just like a little mechanical pencil, but it's incredibly nice to be able to use this. One thing that I would tell you is that this is expensive, though. I think it was 50 or 60 bucks for the setup. I did get I think 2 holders and 3 or 4 of the materials in different sizes. This is my smallest one, though, and to be fair, I would really love to have like a 0.4 or a 0.3 version of this. But what I found is I can just use a whetstone for like sharpening a knife, and I can sharpen that edge down pretty easily that way, and get into these small crevices, because these areas are very small. I still can't get into 0.1 millimeter areas very easily. I do make it into a point, and yeah, I agree, definitely worth the spend. And I'll make sure I get that into the comments for you after this gets posted. I would tell you exactly everything about it, but I don't remember. It's quite a while ago I got it, but I can get on Ali and grab the, oops, there's my putty, and grab the link and post it up there so you can go get one. Hopefully they still are selling them. I'm sure they are, though. Last time I think I looked, they still were selling them. The other thing I use too, which this is too big for this, I'll just show it to you though, it's a ruby stone synthetic, and it's obviously quite huge, but this works really well. It's a nice high grain, and it does a really good job of putting a nice polish on. So I'll put a lot of those tools in there for you so you can see them, and I'll just show that again. It's quite big, but they make these in different sizes. I think I have some of these going all the way down to 1 millimeter, I think is the smallest I've got on those. But I really do like those, and just for cleaning up. And of course, I'm using this for this, but you can also use just a wooden stick on brass, and it works pretty well for cleaning up as well. The nice thing about using wood, even though it takes a little bit longer, is it will polish it, but it will also not scratch and leave a big old gouge if you mess up. The only thing I don't like about this, though, is it leaves behind a lot of debris, so it's kind of hard to see your progress before you blow it away or wipe it away. And so I'm just using a little bulb tube. It's a watch dust bulb to blow that off. And then if your tip of your wood's dirty, you either grab an additional one like this, or you can clean it off with the putty. The tool, though, I really like that other tool better, just because it does a faster job. But if you slip, it definitely, you're wishing you'd used the wood instead. And so that's what that is. But this little corner right here has a little edge on the 9 right there, and I want to make that a little bit smoother. And so let's see if I can round that off just by manually coming in here and polishing that down with a little bit more abrasive power here of the ceramic polishing. I'm going to use the other side of that. And I can actually feel that, so it's going to be probably pretty hard to get that off, because this is not an aggressive tool for removing a lot of material. Let me clean that up there so I can see if I got it. I don't think I did, but let's just see here. I'm going to see if I can polish that up a little bit and take a look at it. course, I don't want to make a low spot, because if I do, then that is not good either. So it looks like that actually flares out on the edge there in the metal. And when I enamel this, it might actually go away. But also keep in mind that we're looking at it under pretty high magnification and just under a little bit of a 1.29 millimeters, so very small. Let's try that again. I think that was off a little bit. Yeah, so just smaller than 3 millimeters is actually what it is. So very small area. So yeah, so you can actually go in and clean up all of it with the same tool. And here's a, this is a little 3D engraving I did. You can see the marks from that I did on it, but that was all burned, and I cleaned up that whole area and polished it with this. You can see a little bit of the laser marks on here still. I don't know if you can see that or not. But yeah, I cleaned up this with it, and then I went in and also added some more detail into it, into the actual 3D part of it as well. So yeah, you can literally go in and with the tool and also clean up and then add some additional engraving lines if you need to. So I really do like this product for that reason. This whole entire surface was cleaned up using that ceramic tool, and you can literally see my tool marks from it. But again, keep in mind that I could polish that up even more than I did. This wasn't actually used for anything. I was just literally learning how to do 3D slicing fiber laser. And I think I spent almost 3 hours cleaning this up once I was done. Yeah, of course, if you have more, and then you can see the back here, it's just not quite as nice, but this was a really nice engraving. I forget how many layers. I think I did this like 600 or something to make this. The file I was using wasn't very high quality, but it turned out pretty decent considering all of that. I think this one was a little bit better, but I ended up painting it, and it got rid of some of the detail. But I didn't clean up the pattern as much, so you can kind of see the difference there as well, just in those two. And then ultimately, what I'm going for when I'm done is something like this, but this is one of my spoiled dowels that's going to get thrown away later because I messed up the enamel on it when I was working on it. So ultimately, like I said, it's one of those things where you're constantly trying to learn how to do this stuff better, and when you make a mistake, it ends up possibly causing you to have to lose something that you've worked hours on already. So, well, I think that's going to be it for me for tonight. I appreciate everybody sticking around and watching. While I was doing that, I need to hit the sack because I got to get up early in the morning to go to work. But hope everybody that stuck around, I really appreciate it. And I will make sure when I get this loaded up, which will probably be, I think it takes about an hour or two for this to show up, so it'll be in the morning. I'll make sure I get all of the links in for where to go buy one of these at on AliExpress and what it's called and everything. And I appreciate it. If you aren't subscribed to my channel, if you like watch stuff, that's mainly what I focus on. Please feel free to hit that up. I do have other videos on there too for DIY stuff. That's where I started the channel originally, but it is all moving towards watch stuff. I just post DIY stuff occasionally. Yeah, you have a great one too. Thanks for sticking with me for a bit here, and have a good night.